I guess my last question was about the role of influencers when attracting customers from foreign markets. So like any brand entering a new market, there are barriers to entry. And one of the big barriers is, of course, the cultural and language difference. And so my question is, what can local influencers, so influencers from the area you want to target, what can they offer? And how can they help brands in this process in attracting a customer that they're not used to attracting normally?
Mm-hmm. I feel that's a great question, and it's something which businesses have already identified. It is something which businesses are already investing in. So one of the biggest challenges is for a brand and an influencer, especially when it's a local culture they're trying to target, like how much, how do I say, creative space should I give the influencer? Because like I said, we have to maintain a brand voice. But then again, we are partnering with an influencer because they know the culture better. So there's always going to be this, let's say, a tug of war as to how much creative space they should get and what can they be saying. But I think this is where we have to let the influencers do the talking or create content which would resonate with that particular area, keeping the brand in mind. Of course, there has to be a strategy as to this is something that you can do, and this is something that you cannot do. But apart from that, I think that's where the local influencers have, let's say, the power. We need them. It should be seen as an equal transaction, not just that, you've paid them and you're supposed to do what you want them to do, but they have the power to reach out to people you don't know how to reach out to. And that's exactly what local influencers do. They do the talking in which the local people would understand, and not just in terms of the language, but also in terms of how things should be communicated. And for example, they would know certain cultural things which shouldn't be spoken about in that culture, which the brand might not be aware of. And that is how I feel like local influencers have the power to make a brand feel closer to home than it actually is. But brands need to realize that there has to be certain creative space, which needs to be talked upon, of course, in the beginning, but needs to be given, which might be out of their comfort zone, but it's going to be beneficial in the end. But yes, again, we have to always remember that we cast the right people. So that study needs to be done. But once that's been done, and once you're clear that this is the influencer who can do things for us, give them the creative space.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time and for those amazing answers. I know our audience is going to love this. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
It's been an incredible experience. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.